The name of the restaurant.
Tito's Cantina.
Tito's Cantina.
Yeah, has some sick Mexican food and a lot of tequila. Oh, if you're a tequila drinker, boy, he has more tequila than anyone else.
I don't drink anymore, but I would take a shot with Tito Ortiz.
Absolutely. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Tito Ortiz. I'll clip this part in the episode. You just met Sean, and you'll be seeing him again, and we look forward to having you on the Fight Pit in the future.
Get your hands up. Sometimes it's hard, but we made it through. We were struggling for a minute, so that winning overdue.
People are always like, why are you wearing sunglasses inside? I'm like, because it fixes everything. Allergies, if I'm too high, if I'm too tired, if I fucking don't want to talk to people, anything that I need to fix, sunglasses solves it. Welcome back to the Fight Pit, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Great to be back with you as always. The Fight Pit covering every single UFC fight, every single UFC card, every single week that there is a UFC card. Today, we are looking at UFC Fight Night, Hill versus Rountree, going down Saturday, June 21st at the Baku Crystal Hall in Baku, Azerbaijan. That's as close as I'm going to get to pronouncing that place right. That was honestly doing my homework for this card was the first time I had ever heard that country's name before.
Yeah.
Azerbaijan. Baku Crystal Hall sounds pretty cool. Sounds like it's I saw one little picture when I Googled it, and looks like a pretty solid venue, to be honest. For a fight night, it sounds like they're putting some good stuff together for this one. But we got a fight that was, I think, if my memory serves correctly, wasn't Hill versus Rountree supposed to be on 300 initially?
It was supposed to be on 303, I thought.
303?
303.
Okay.
And then I think it was supposed to happen one other time on another fight night, and it got pushed back from a fight night to this fight night. So this has been kind of the Tony Ferguson Khabib currently right now. These two are supposed to fight. They're top guys. Let's get this fight happening already.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I think you're right too. I do recall this being a headliner for another card at some point. But there was I don't remember. I think 303. I knew it was one of those big cards that it was not a headliner. It was a main card fight the first time that it was booked. And it was one of those huge blowout, like absolutely stacked cards. And it was a pretty big letdown that it got canceled. Alex Pereira versus Yuri sounds familiar. I think that's the second time they fought. I believe it was like a short notice replacement to headline 303. So that does sound right. But fingers crossed, everybody. We are what are we? We're a week and a half away from it. A week and a half ahead of time. Excuse me. A week and a half ahead. So we still have a week and a half to go before we can officially say that it's going down. But fingers crossed we get it this time. And fingers crossed we get it this time mainly because if this fight falls off, there's not a whole lot else that anybody is going to be able to do with this card. There's a few names on it. There's a lot of fights on here that I'm sure are not going to have the name value that matches the potential for like high level fight, like awesome fight potential. But if this fight does fall off on this one, I don't see Fiziev and Bahamondes bringing in the Bucks as the headliner. Fiziev has done short notice main events recently this year against Justin Gaethje, but it's gonna be an interesting one. How are you feeling about this card? Taking a look at it.
It's an interesting card. I understand where they are in the world, and that's why they have a lot more Middle Eastern fighters. And some don't have big names because, once again, they're not huge on social media, or just here in America, they're not the biggest names yet. But there are some damn good fighters on this card that, like, I mean, anytime you got Oralbai on a card, you're signing up. And if you don't know who he is, where have you been? That guy is electric. You have to watch him fight. Win or lose, phenomenal fight. Curtis Blaydes, hey, one of the only heavyweights that's willing to be active. One of the few. So it's like you got to give credit where credit's due. There is some name value. Obviously, the main event is carrying this, but the co-main is pretty nice. But people don't, once again, know Ignacio Bahamondes yet 100%. Obviously, if you're a diehard, you know. But if you're a common, you may not know. You may have seen him. You're like, oh, I know who that guy is. But that's the extent of it. So this card's like one of those that's you're going to see maybe an up-and-comer or two off of this card. That's what you're going to see.
Right. Definitely some breakout name potential on this fight. To circle back to your point, Myktybek Oralbai, 100% is not like Merab Dvalishvili type of name, but should be, because anybody who hasn't seen Myktybek Oralbai compete, I highly recommend you go back and watch Oralbai versus Rebecki. If you've been paying attention, if you've been paying attention to MMA at all within the last year, you have heard about that fight. If you didn't see it yourself, if you haven't seen it, you must go back and watch that fight. One of the greatest fights of all time, fight of the year, fight of the century, fight of the decade, and it's an amazing one. And he's going up against Tofiq Musayev. Tofiq Musayev at a plus 140, and Oralbai Oralbai currently at a minus 160. I think that fight might also have been one. We had quite a few fights on this card that had opponent switches and last minute changes. So some of these were kind of hard to nail down. Some of these may or may not change again. Asterisk card subject to change over in the corner, as always. But with the odds being that close, I haven't seen too much of Tofiq Musayev as far as film study, but I did get a good look at his record. I did get a good look at what he's been up to, and seems to be, especially with the odds being at a less than 1.5, seems like it's going to be a pretty competitive fight. And I'm expecting that one to be a solid firefight. As we've seen with Oralbai in the past, he's game, very well-rounded. Doesn't matter where the fight goes, it's going to be competitive. So I think that Tofiq Musayev has the potential to put up a very competitive fight with Oralbai on that one. And also, like you were saying, Curtis Blaydes, still ranked number 5, minus 265 favorite over Rizvan Kuniev. Rizvan Kuniev has only, I believe, fought a Dana White Contender Series fight. Coming from 2 Dana White Contender Series fights right up to number 5 Curtis Blaydes in your first UFC fight. Holy fucking shit, dude. That's a very, very big jump. How do you expect that one to go? Of course I'm expecting a finish in this one, but it's a heavyweight fight, so yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Well, my thing with this is, actually, I don't know if this was a short notice fight or not, just for the factor of Curtis Blaydes even made a tweet or an Instagram, I think it was a tweet, but about him wanting to fight, but there's no contenders wanting to fight. And then Tom Aspinall confirming that when he came on and talked with DC and Chael Sonnen and saying about how all the guys are just not fighting. So he might have just said, like, Curtis Blaydes might have just said, hey, I just want to fight someone. Like, just give me someone. Like, I don't get paid to sit around. And honestly, when you look at who Curtis Blaydes is, does that guy look like a guy that's ever said no to a fight? Ever? Like, no chance. Dude, he's the most reliable heavyweight I think we've had over the last 10 years. I really do. Like, he's like, you need a heavyweight to fight, or let's get Curtis Blaydes in here. Like, yeah, everyone. And
aside from, shout out, Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis is another one too. Yep. And I definitely think that like Curtis Blaydes may have just taken this fight. And on top of it, there's only, the last time I checked, it was about a month and a half ago, there was only 29 heavyweights on roster. So more than half of them are ranked or the champion or champions. So it's like there's a chance that no one in the top 15 is willing to fight, and it's like, all right, guy, you're jumping in and you're fighting Curtis Blaydes at 5. So
that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, respect to Curtis Blaydes regardless. And I do agree, it's a heavyweight fight. It's a guy that has a lot of punching power versus another guy that has good punching power and a great ground game and knows how to get finishes on the ground. In heavyweight division, that will take you a very long way. So I'm appreciative of Curtis Blaydes, definitely, because honestly, we need more heavyweight action that isn't a Tafa brother at this moment. That's all we've seen in the last like 6 to 8 months is a Tafa brother. That's it.
Seriously, dude. And with, you know, we've been saying it for quite a while now. Right now is either the best time or the worst time to be a UFC heavyweight, because you're either stuck waiting to see what's going to happen. You're either stuck towards the top waiting to see what's going to happen. You're sitting at 3, 4, 2, somewhere up there, campaigning for a title shot, beating everyone that they put in front of you, and just waiting to see what's going to happen, where your next step is going to be available. Or you're 5 and below and just raking up paychecks and just stacking fights, stacking fight night events, stacking pay-per-view prelim fights, just doing whatever the hell you want, because you know there's only maybe 1 to 2 heavyweight fights per card, if any. We've had a few cards that were I can't remember exactly which card it was, but there was one card within the last year, the entire card was, they had 1 welterweight fight, every other fight, 15 fights on the card 155 and below, and that's tough to sell, man. That is tough to sell if you don't have a Charles Oliveira headlining, or a Justin Gaethje headlining, or a Peyton Talbot on the card, or somebody that's going to bring in some excitement. We need some heavyweights. We need some heavy hitters. We need some big boys on there to help push these cards. But that's going to be an interesting one. I do see that one ending in a finish, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But before we jump into this card, a few things that we are going to breeze over real quick. Just announced for UFC 319, we have Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page is official. Very, very interesting. What's your thoughts on that one?
It all depends if Cannonier wants to try to bully and get to the ground. But what we've seen of Cannonier is he wants to stand and throw, and he's just going to get pieced up over 3 rounds of Michael Venom Page, in my opinion. It'll be a 30-27 or a 29-28 at best, because Cannonier would have to get the knockout shot, because Michael Venom Page is just going to pick him apart on the feet. It has to get to the ground.
I do agree. One point of note that I wanted to make sure that we were aware of is that Michael Venom Page staying at middleweight on this one. This is because ordinarily he's doing welterweight stuff. Moved up, I think, and was it the Shara Bullet? I think was his first middleweight fight. Looked great. Looked very good. Shara Bullet, very talented striker, very well-rounded fighter, very tough fighter. Absolute just momentum train going into that fight. Was riding several wins in a row, several finishes on that streak. Going from Shara Bullet to Jared Cannonier, very interesting. Very interesting jump. Jared Cannonier showing in his last one against Gregory Rodriguez that he does still have it. He does still have what it takes to remain at the top of the middleweight division. But going from a welterweight, Michael Venom Page, taking a short notice fight against Shara Bullet, and then going up to number 7 ranked Jared Cannonier, 40 years old, mind you. I'm kind of worried for Michael Venom Page. I'm kind of worried for him on that one, because he could possibly, if we get Jared Cannonier that we know and love, he could be biting off a little more than he can chew. Jared Cannonier a little bit shorter, but does have a long reach. So I don't anticipate that Michael Venom Page will have too much of a reach advantage on him, if at all, because Jared Cannonier, for the division, a little bit shorter, but a huge dude and long as hell arms. I'd have to pull up their exact reach. But yeah, if you had to make an early prediction for official picks on that one, who are you taking money line? What's the over and under? What's the method of victory you got?
I would say the favorite has to be Michael Venom Page too. Like he was a pretty decent underdog, pretty decent against Sharaputin Magomedov, and he beat him pretty easily, and he showed how much faster he is. He has the lighter man skill that shout out to Lucas Tracy MMA. Like that's his slogan. He always says the lighter man skill, and he has the longest. He just has that 170 thing, and if these guys don't want to take him down, he's going to. There's no one that's been able to stand on the feet with him. Ian Gary, and we know how good he is on the feet. We just saw what he did to Pratas. It's like, and Pratas is damn good. He said, no, I'm not playing with this. I'm taking him down all 3 rounds. Like, I can't do this. And it's like, that's how good he is on the feet. And you can't, like, he's been knocked out once in his career, if I'm correct, and it was by actually a grappler, which I do believe it was like a knee to the head or something like that. Or no, it was an uppercut. It was an uppercut, if I was correct.
Diego Lima. Yeah. Or no, not. Yeah, was it? No, it was Douglas Lima.
Yeah, he was mostly grappler, and he got clipped because he wasn't guarding the head because his hands were too far down. That's the way to strike him, is you have to take him down, and I just don't see Jared Cannonier at 40 years old that hasn't been doing this his whole time. He's been doing this by takedown defense and striking. I don't see teaching this old dog a new trick here. So I would have to go with Michael Venom Page here, but I've been picking Michael Venom Page the whole time, even against Ian Gary, just because I love his striking so much. I've been on that bandwagon. As soon as I heard he was coming to the UFC, I'm like, dude, yeah. Like it's one of these, like, if you're a big MMA fan, you've known who this guy is long before UFC, and you know how much noise he could make in UFC. He's the only one other than Michael Chandler that's actually made noise in the UFC from coming over. Mm-hmm. And I legitimately, if you look at the division, there's not many grapplers. Like, I think until he gets into the top 5 at 185, I think he's going to pretty much cruise.
Understandable.
Easy.
Understandable. Yeah. It's a surprising one. I was kind of more expecting Michael Venom Page to go back down to welterweight and try to make a run at a title, but who saw this coming? Who saw Michael Venom Page coming over to the UFC and going up a weight class? You know what I mean? That's exciting. It's exciting.
Yep. He saw the grapplers. 170's loaded with grapplers. 185. Yeah. Who? Kyle Brahillo he has incredible grappling, right. Doesn't do it.
Fluffy.
Fluffy does, and that's the thing. He's jumping Fluffy, which wait till Fluffy comes around. Well,
yeah, especially if he gets past Elidze in this next one, which is another point that I'm coming to also. By the way, Jared Cannonier with a 77.5-inch reach, Michael Venom Page with a 79-inch reach. So he's still going to have, he's still going to have a reach advantage over the number 7 middleweight in the world. Yep. And I do believe a pretty fair height advantage also. Michael Venom Page is listed at 6'3", and Cannonier standing at 5'11", so a 4-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. That's crazy. This Michael Venom Page at middleweight lore, dude. It's didn't see it coming, but I'm not mad at it. And that also going to be currently listed as the co-main event, but only because there's 2 fights announced. But that is on the Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev card. So you got
beautiful
middleweight Michael Venom Page versus number 7 versus number 2 versus the champ. Oof. Middleweights at 319. Gonna be cool. And that's gonna take place in Chicago on August 15th. Other current events I wanted to drop out real quick. Our man Joshua Van turning around super quick, taking a short notice fight at UFC 317 against Brandon Royval.
I'm beyond happy. As soon as he came into UFC, that was another one I've been watching since his second fight in UFC. I looked back at his first fight afterwards. I'm like, dude, this guy, he reminds me of Rodtang from Muay Thai. He reminds me of him so much. He just if Rodtang did MMA other than against Demetrius Johnson, which is insane, and had incredible grappling, like you can't take him down. He's going to push in your face. He's going to strike you. He's always going to have the reach disadvantage. So we can talk about that with Brandon Royval, but every fight he has a reach disadvantage. And I just love the pressure. His significant strike differential is higher than anyone in flyweight history. I saw that and I was like pumped. I was like, I know he's underdog. There is no part of me at all, and I like Brandon Royval too. I really do. But there's no part of me that's picking against Joshua Van. None. That
fight announcement coming in on UFC 317, so he will be jumping in on June 28th. Today is currently the 13th, and he just competed on, was it the last card?
316. He's going back-to-back pay-per-views.
Back-to-back pay-per-views, so that'll be a 2-week turnaround for pay-per-views. Incredible. Great job, great stuff, because that is what we as fans, we at the Fight Pit, us specifically, but everyone for the most part is saying, fight, bro, fight, do it. You know, everybody should know by now, especially with how easily accessible all of the information and the content on the UFC, the embeddeds, all that stuff. Everyone knows by now. If you have that mentality, if you have that let me fucking fight attitude, Dana White will fight you. I mean, he'll give you fights. He will get you fights no matter what. If you have this kind of attitude, you can work your way up to a title shot, Cody Garbrandt style, going from an unranked to champion inside of a calendar year. It's possible if you just do what Joshua Van's doing, and we love it. The Fight Pit has been very high on Joshua Van ever since he got in. He is not proving us wrong. We very much appreciate it. Joshua Van, if you're watching this, the Fight Pit is backing you all the way to the top. We've been backing you. We're going to continue to back you. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van on UFC 317. Also on that card, Viviane Araujo versus Tracy Cortez, Jack Hermanson versus Gregory Rodriguez, Yonata Denise versus Justin Tafa, Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov, Beneil Dariush versus Hanato Moicano. Yep, very good one. And the main event, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. But the co-main event, we have Joshua Van and Brandon Royval. Joshua Van stepping in short notice in a flyweight fight against a top, what is Royval? Like 3?
1.
He's 1? Oh my gosh. So you got Joshua Van stepping in on a short notice fight against the number 1 ranked contender in flyweight on the same card that Pantoja is fighting Kai Kara France for the title.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Bro, it's beautiful. It's working out just the way we planned it.
He's 23 years old. 23.
Dude, that is
That's
bananas.
what
That
the
is
hell?
bananas.
He could buy before the calendar year. He could have the belt. He would have to. He's going to be underdog whole time.
I think Kai Kara France was who I picked out of my hopes for the 2020 at the end of the year. And if he gets it done, depending on how things go, I might end up being right on that one. But dude, I don't think any of us even mentioned Joshua Van in that conversation at the beginning of the year.
No, we didn't see this coming. We didn't
That's insane.
Man.
That is insane. Fluffy Hernandez versus Blaydes card on August 9th. I saw that the co-main event is going to be Alex Perez versus Steve Erceg. Pretty cool.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that one? You like that one?
I like that. That's a good flyweight fight. Good technical fight too. And I want Steve Erceg to step down into Alex Perez is still very good, but Steve Erceg has legitimately fought 3 absolute murderers in a row. Like, give this guy a tiny step down in talent, just a tiny bit. Like, my God, Steve Erceg's been through the ringer recently. Like, if you told me you went 0-3 against those 3 guys, I'm not upset about that. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I want him to get a bounce back. Really do.
That will be a solid one. Erceg is number 9 versus Alex Perez, number 7. And Joshua Van broke in at, what was he, 15? And in his last fight from last weekend at UFC 316, he moved up to number 10. So Joshua Van currently at number 10, going up against confirmed Brandon Royval, number 1 ranked contender in the division. That is fucking nuts, bro. I don't recall the last time anybody. I mean, maybe Steve Erceg, number 10, fighting for the title, but I don't recall going from unranked to number 15 to number 1 over the course of 2 weeks. Jesus, that's fucking bananas. And you're fighting on the same card as the title. Fate, man. But the thing is, Brandon Royval, you got to give him some damn credit too. He lost Manel Kopp, and it's like, the hype of Manel Kopp. Like, this was a really big fight. He's like, who can possibly be as exciting as that right this minute? Kai Kara France is fighting for the belts. I'm gonna have to fight someone that the people don't know. And then all of a sudden, Joshua Van, and he's like, well, that's the hottest dude in the weight class. He's even hotter than the champ right now. Like, legitimately, people were more talking about Joshua Van than the champ. It's like, deal. Okay, we're taking this fight. Very dangerous fight because of 3 rounds too. Very dangerous fight. Yeah. And with how Joshua Van's style, he very much could win 2 rounds very quickly. And then definitely with Brandon Royval does start off slow. That's another thing. Like, that first round, I would put money on that first round goes right to Joshua Van because he pushes the pace while Brandon Royval takes his foot off the gas and tries to learn to fight a little bit. And then he gets into it. So that's a really scary fight for Brandon Royval, and he's going to be a pretty heavy favorite in my opinion too. I would think so, but yeah, that's a very good point. Credit to Brandon Royval, needing to keep a fight, needing to get a fight, and needing to stay active to maintain his number 1 ranking, and having just not the best of luck lately. Going anybody else ranked number 1 is like, no. Number 15 to number 10, I'm not. He needs to work his way up. Brandon Royval, nothing but balls, dude. Nothing but respect for you. Going up against somebody who's just rolling and looking as scary as Joshua Van, looking as dominant, and with all the potential in the world. The hype train, fresh, piping white hot right now off of 316. Credit to both guys. We're excited. We're excited for that one. And then shout out to Alex Perez. Alex Perez, one of the Central Valley homies, one of the guys that I root for no matter what. Steve Erceg, great dude, great fighter, but I'm rolling with Alex Perez no matter what on that one. On the same card, Fluffy Hernandez, same thing. It doesn't matter who Fluffy's going up against. I'm backing him against King Kong, Godzilla, whatever. whatever. That's going down August 9th. And then also announced a couple days ago, Zuffa Boxing allegedly is finalizing the Canelo versus Crawford fight for September 13th. Now, I know we don't follow boxing as close as we do as the UFC, but I know that we both know who Canelo Alvarez is, and we both know who Bud Crawford is. Yeah, and that is a fight that I think we all can agree should have happened by now. Should have been long happened. Should have been couple few years ago at the latest. That I think that fight should have happened. And it should be an afterthought for us at this point. We could maybe be talking about a rematch at this point, but I just found it interesting. Zuffa Boxing, first thing that I'm hearing of them, and they're coming out and putting together that Canelo versus Crawford fight. How do you feel about that? You think Zuffa Boxing, I mean, they're dabbling in jiu-jitsu now. They've got Mikey Musumeci versus the other guy on one of their BJJ events coming up. And then, of course, they got Power Slap, which we're never going to talk about ever. And the first Zuffa Boxing thing that I'm hearing about coming out and making a fight that we've been clamoring for. How do you feel that's going to go? Do you think Zuffa Boxing is going to be here to stay, or is this like a Oscar De La Hoya one-off type thing?
I really depend. It's all depends on numbers. Like, I know it's going to sell, but it really does depend on numbers. And if because there is bargaining because I think it's over, this event's going to be happening. Is it going to be happening in the Saudi area? I believe. I thought they purchased the event, but all depends on the money. All depends on the money share too. That's the thing. The Dana White and Zuffa and all them. It's about the money. Like, at the end of the day, it's a business, and the fight could be great. But if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. Zuffa is going to be like, all right, we'll wait to see what the next hot thing's going to be. Like if Francis Ngannou was in the UFC and he decided to fight Tyson Fury, that would have been a bigger situation. Zuffa Boxing would have happened then. But Francis left, all that, and whatever. I love the fight, though. The fight itself, I'm always for it. I think they're close in age. I think Terrence Crawford's a year or two older. I know people are going to say, "Oh, Crawford's out of his prime." It's like, not the last time I saw him, he wasn't. I don't think the guy's ever left his prime since he's been 18 years old. Like, the guy's been insane, and he is going to be a smaller guy, but his reach is going to be just as long as Canelo. But Canelo does have insane punching power. Definitely body shots. Yes. He's known for that body shot finish, and I know I don't follow boxing insanely well, but when it comes to like a Canelo or a Terrence Crawford, I will say when it comes to the bigger names, I do follow them. MMA is my sport where I follow the littlest of little guys. But when it comes to these two, at least I know who the hell they are. I know how they fight, what kind of boxing style they are, and I think it's a really good match made. I just hope it doesn't go to scorecards because it's going to be always bullshit. I always hate boxing scorecards because you could be like, oh, this guy won 10 rounds. All of a sudden, it's a split decision. It's like, huh? I had 10 rounds to 2. Where did we get a split decision out of this? That's just how it always goes.
True. You never can tell. Boxing's always, as long as we can remember, as long as it's gone back, it's always been a little bit, not too sure. There's always that. There's always some room where there could be some stuff going on that we isn't too kosher. But from what I can find on the Google AI overview, it says it is being promoted by Riyadh Season, but it says it is set to take place at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. I believe that's the Raiders Stadium, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense that they're going to try the Zuffa Boxing, Zuffa, the Fertitas, Dana White, UFC, TKO, everything is done in Vegas. That's the hub. That's the fight capital of the world. So trying to put on their first big boxing event, having it in Vegas, having it somewhere where they can have control and not have to kind of deal with sketchy athletic commissions or anything like that. That's understandable. It's understandable. But yeah, that's
they're trying to sell 50,000+ seats.
Yep. Absolutely, trying to cram as many asses into that arena for that card as they possibly can. Even though I think that it should have gone down already, I think it's still going to be a great fight. I think it's still going to be a very solid main event for Zuffa Boxing. I think it's going to do great numbers, of course, but I hope that the rest of the card is stacked too. I hope that it's not one of these like Triller type events where they're just trying to, put two big names in the main event and then just a bunch of bullshit on the rest of the card. I hope that they're trying to really take over and do great things. And in co-promotion with Riyadh Season, we've seen some great things from Riyadh Season over the last couple years. Some very great things as far as boxing is concerned. So here's hoping they keep that rolling.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely watch that one. But I agree with you with the undercard stuff. When boxing events, it's usually just top heavy, and then the rest is basically nothing. You don't know anyone. Like, definitely if you're not a religious boxing fan. Like, if you're a common fan, like I will say I'm more of a common fan when it comes to boxing, just because of the history of the people taking a fall and all that shit. And like, it's all the goofy stuff over the years. Like, the scorecards are always, the headline is never, oh, this person beat this person. It's how it's like a weird judging. It's like, why does this always have to happen? So that's why I just pay attention to the big fights, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, this is so far, I can't think of one bigger than this right now. If it goes through, that's going to be pretty incredible if they can pull that off. So shout out to Zuffa Boxing. Hopefully it works out, but credit to you for even giving it a try. People been asking for this one, and they're just, you know how they are. Zuffas, Fertitas, Dana White, anybody in that circle, they're just like, this is something the fans want, done. So credit to them. All right, before we go too much further, we are going to take a second to give a shout out to this episode's sponsor, Bucked Up Supplements. The good people at Bucked Up aim to provide customers with the highest quality supplements and fitness products that help to achieve your health and fitness goals. You guys know Bucked Up. We've all seen Bucked Up. You see them at the store, see them at GNC, see them at Walmart. You see their shots. I see their shots everywhere. Everyone uses those Bucked Up shots now. See them at gas stations and stuff. Everybody loves Bucked Up. And for good reason. Bucked Up is committed to using only the best ingredients and the latest scientific research to create innovative and effective products that enhance performance, increase energy, and promote overall wellness. And that's one thing that I do love about Bucked Up is not a whole lot of ingredients you can't pronounce. You know what I mean? Not a whole lot of extra bullshit, which is I'm a big fan of. Bucked Up provides an array of supplements, including pre-workouts, proteins, creatines, test boosters, BCAAs, vitamins, and their signature Deer Antler Velvet Spray. And if you're not sure where to start, Bucked Up also offers pre-selected stacks that bundle the right supplements for your goals for you. And with their 45-day money-back guarantee on all supplement products, you don't have to worry about wasting your hard-earned money. So if you're interested, you want to get some Bucked Up supplements, go on down to the description, click the link, and it's going to take you right to the website. And then once you order, make sure you use the code FightPit20 to receive 20% off of your supplement order every time you order. Not even just the first time. Anytime you order from Bucked Up, you can use this code FightPit20, 20% off every single time. Can't beat it. So thank you to Bucked Up for sponsoring this episode of the Fight Pit. We appreciate you. And now we are going to jump into the prelims. Probably not going to take very long. Not a whole lot to really cover on this one, but a few interesting ones. Opening up the night, we have Irina Alexieva versus Claudia Segula, followed by Sayok Hyun Ko versus Oban Elliott. That's one I think that we are definitely gonna want to be tuned in for. Hamdi Abdelwahab versus Mohammed Usman. Then we have number 15 ranked Melissa Mullins versus Daria Zelensniakova. There we
Better
go.
Than I would say it.
And might take a couple tries, but I'll eventually get in the ballpark. Melissa Mullins versus Daria Zelensniakova. And then my most anticipated fight on these prelims, we got Ismail Nordiev versus the Iron Turtle, Junyong Park, baby. And then rounding out the prelim card, we have number 12 ranked Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksum. The Tagir Ulanbekov, very good fight. The Ulanbekov fight was, I believe he was initially scheduled to face Kyoji Hiraguchi, who was coming from Ryzen, I believe. Kyoji Hiraguchi, also a UFC veteran. I don't know if you guys remember, but he was one of the guys that fought Demetrius Johnson back in the day. Can you see this one with the big two, TJ Dillashaw and Kenan Barao?
Mm-hmm.
The co-main event right down there in the bottom right here. That was Kyoji Hiraguchi versus Demetrius Johnson.
That's life-size poster right there. That's how big they actually are in real life.
That's funny. That's a good one. But yeah, the Tagir Ulanbekov fight versus Azat Maksum. I believe Maksum is a short notice replacement. We've had a handful of those. On this one, like we said, the Oban Elliott fight and the Junyong Park fight, those are the two that I'm looking forward to the most. We'll get into some official picks and bets on this, if any, but just want to get your thoughts on this card. What fights you're looking forward to the most?
Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksum is a great fight. On paper it is. I have no odds on it on this site, so I don't know anything about any of the odds.
Yeah, that's my bad. I forgot to throw the odds on last night on the outline, but the odds for that fight today, Tagir Ulanbekov at a -300 and Azat Maksum at a +250.
Wow, that's a little big. I would definitely sprinkle underdog too here. Both incredible grapplers. If you're into like a grappling clinic, this should not be just one holding one down and just boring kind of style where people say Dagestanian Russians do. That shouldn't be this. This should be really good rolling. There's a BJJ term for you if you don't know. Now you know. But rolling in there, this it's going to be a lot of submission attempts. A lot of them. This is not going to be just a ground and pound or anything. These guys are going to throw some weird shit out there. So I really like that fight for you grappler fans. This is one for you. Obviously, Junyong Park, any fight, he's always fun. It's always a hell date for their opponent. They could be -800 favorite. It's going to be a hell date for him. Sorry, just is. And no offense, I don't really know much about Daria. I know Melissa Mullins a little bit, but I don't know much about Daria, and I'm not going to say her last name. I will not do it anywhere near as good. Muhammad Usman versus Mamdi. This is going to be the classic. This is hopefully going to be over in the first round heavyweight fight. If not, we've seen some of the heavyweights like this and go 3 rounds, and it is a little bit of a snoozer. So we do want to see this fight end in the first round. And Oban Elliott versus Sadykhov is fucking. That's a fight. That's just a fight. Those two are going to war. That's an early fight war that you should be tuning in for.
Even though Oban Elliott, if you needed the odds for any of the other ones, I have them here for you. Oban Elliott at a -400.
That's interesting. Once again, if I had gun to head, I would be picking Oban Elliott, but I don't think the odds should be that big. Once again, I don't think so.
Exactly.
I would be also betting on Elliott too. So I guess that's
Right.
why the odds are that way. So, but you could definitely sprinkle in a couple underdogs here, definitely on the prelims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadykhov Ko's nickname is KO for good reason. It's
Yep.
his name. He's sitting at a plus 300. So if you're looking for an underdog sprinkle, not a bad one. Not a bad one. But we also have Melissa Mullins and Daria Zelensniakova. They actually fought each other already, and Melissa Mullins got a KO TKO. And I think that that's going to be one of the sprinkle bets that I lock in. For the prelims, as far as official picks and bets go on my end, I am going to take, of course, Oban Elliott money line. I'm going to take Melissa Mullins money line. I'm going to take Junyong Park money line and Tagir Ulanbekov money line. And as far as the bets go, I'm going the Elliott fight not to go the distance. I'm going to throw a little bit on Melissa Mullins to get another KO TKO win against Daria. And I'm going to be sprinkling Junyong Park by submission or decision, because I think he's either going to win a decision or he's going to find that submission. That one's kind of tough to call as far as the over-unders on that one, but definitely sprinkling on Junyong Park to get submission. Iron Turtle, baby. Do you got any official picks or official bets you want to lock in?
Yeah, I'll start towards the bottom and work my way up. Not going to touch the women's bantamweight bout there. Elliott versus KO. I'm going to go Elliott official pick, but a second pick, like I would toss in there, is not to go to distance. Like even if Elliott doesn't win, KO is going to get exactly that. That's how it would be. So if that fight actually makes a decision, either we're getting fight of a year or something happened. One of the two, because those two are going to give each other hell. Muhammad Usman versus Hanby. I'm not touching. I just heavyweight rule.
Yeah.
It ain't a title fight, and I don't have to pick it. I ain't touching it.
Exactly.
Melissa Mullins, I do like her, and she's one of the few women that has KO power consistently. But also Daria has some KOs in her belt, so I'm just gonna pick Melissa. What's the odds on that?
Melissa Mullins money line for the official pick. And Melissa Mullins odds right now, we have Melissa Mullins at minus 251, Daria Zelensniakova plus 211.
Okay, that's not that bad. That's but we'll do Melissa. I was going to do not to go to distance also, but then I'm like, it is a women's fight. I got to chill out, like just a little bit. Even though they both do have KO power, I do need to chill out a little bit.
My now that you mention it, my inner degenerate, I actually like that. That's a nice sprinkle. Yeah, that's a nice sprinkle.
And it's still probably. I don't know if it's a favorite or not. It might still be the favorite. To beat not to go distance just because they have the knockout power. But if it is underdog, I would definitely sprinkle it in just because it's going to boost those odds right through the roof. So Junyong Park money line. I don't know the odds in that fight either, but I just like him. He's one of the guys I'm just going to pick. He gives everyone hell. That's simple as that.
Park is a minus 220 favorite.
Minus 220. And then the flyweight, Tagir versus Azad. My pick is going to be over 1.5 rounds. That will be my official pick. I can see the underdog winning this fight. I'm surprised the odds were as spread out as they were. This is one that I would sprinkle an underdog if you want, but obviously Tagir should win. But I'm going to say over 1.5. I feel like this could be a 3-round grappling festival and possibly a submission in the 3rd round by one of them, but it won't be early, in my opinion.
Gotcha. I like it. Very solid pick. All right, and that's going to take us into the main card. First fight, we have Muhammad Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. This is going to be an interesting one. I am not doing an official pick on this one just because something in me is telling me that Bogdan Grad can get this one done. I don't know. And Naimov being a 2-1 favorite. I just with the styles that they both bring in and the way that everything's gone recently with Bogdan Grad, he's got quite a few finishes. I know Naimov is a smart pick, but it's really hard for me to go official pick on this one. I think Bogdan Grad might be able to get this one done. This might be one of the. I don't really know if I want to put him as the dog of the week, but I got a feeling about Bogdan Grad on this one. So I'm not going to say an official pick money line, but I am taking, as far as the bets go, I'm going to say this fight doesn't go the distance.
That's exactly what I was going with. But these guys at featherweight, you have a guy that has 12 finishes in 17 fights, has 12 finishes. And then another one that has 8 finishes in 15 fights at featherweight. These two are just they're going to get the job done one way or another. So yep. The only thing I'm worried about is possibly them being a little more like fall backish, just because, hey, we know this guy could get the finish too. But I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think both of them are trying to make a name. That and featherweight division, like right now, is very alive. Because once again, Volk is 36 years old. He's not going to be around for 2-3 more years. He's probably going to do 1, 2, maybe 3 more fights at most, and I think he calls it. So it's like these guys, but if they work their ass off and get up there, hey, that division's going to be open. So
it is.
So I think definitely, I like Muhammad. I think, but what, like you said, Bogdan Grad is. Man, that's a scary fighting name too, for God's sake.
Yeah,
that name
seriously.
Dude, he either makes statues or he fights people. One of the two. Like that's a sport. Jesus. So
dope,
like that
dope ass name, dude.
Yeah, so the guy is a fighting name too. So it definitely could be a dog of the week too. So I definitely am fight not going to distance would be my official pick.
Okay, so as far as the money line, we have no official pick on that one, but we're both rocking with fight to not go the distance on the first fight. Naimov Grad, beautiful. Next one up, we have Nazim Sadykhov versus Nikolas Motta. You want to go ahead and open this one up?
Yeah. So this fight's another one that's, boy, someone's going to sleep very quickly. This is another one where this is minus 400, but do not sleep on Nikolas. Another plus 300. My God, that's ridiculous. The guy can knock out a bull. Like it's it's one of those that it's. But I do think Nazim does have a ground game that he might use, and then maybe go for a TKO on the ground. But I haven't seen enough about Nikolas Motta's ground game to really give you a judge if he can keep it on the feet the whole time. But man, if it stays on the feet, this is definitely a fight not going the distance. That would probably be my official bet. But Nazim, P minus 400 is a little ridiculous because when you look at Nikolas' power, but both of them, they knock out everyone. They both do it. I just know Nazim does have grappling experience. I don't know enough about Nikolas' grappling to feel safe enough to pick him as an underdog here. So I would say Nazim money line, but my official pick is not to go to distance again.
Gotcha. Well, we're both riding with Nazim money line on that one, so we'll go first official pick, Nazim money line, and the official bet for us both, once again, fight to not go the distance. We are on it. We are on it. Next one should be a little bit more fun. We got number 5 ranked Curtis Blaydes versus Rizvan Kuniev. Blaydes currently sitting at a minus 265. Kuniev at a plus 225. Again, another plus money dog that very well could fucking hit, dude. But granted, Curtis Blaydes, super well-rounded for a heavyweight. Very solid hands, not the cleanest, crispest, like Tom Aspinall type boxing techniques, but very solid hands, very heavy hands. When he lands, you are fucked. Like, if he lands clean, it's a rough night if it's not over right then and there. Rizvan Kuniev also very solid on the feet. Very solid on the feet. A lot of KOs. Does have decision wins, so I mean, you would think the later that this fight goes, the more it favors Curtis Blaydes. And I personally think that, you know, we always say with heavyweight fights, this should end quickly. But in the back of my head, just because I have PTSD from all these fucking heavyweight fights, I do think that it is possible that Curtis Blaydes says, no, I'm not dealing with defeat. I'm going to take you down and keep you on your back for 3 rounds. So there is that in the back of my mind. I feel like that could be a possibility. But traditional thinking, we would say one of these guys is going to get a knockout. The official pick I'm going to go with, I'm taking Curtis Blaydes, because Curtis Blaydes doesn't lose to anybody outside of the top 3, 4. And as far as the official bet, I'm going to say this one goes under 2.5. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go out on a limb on that one. What do you got for this one?
Curtis Blaydes' only losses are usually against the top contenders. That's something to also mention. He does have, if I'm correct, 5 losses. 5 losses, and 2 were Francis Ngannou. 1 was Derek Lewis. Who else did he lose to? But
Aspinall.
And there's one more up there, but they're all top contenders. And that's the thing. Like, it is the heavyweight division, and he could lose, like, to a guy that isn't ranked currently. But I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think Curtis Blaydes is going to get this done by the 2nd round. He's going to TKO on the ground or even a submission on the ground. He's a smart fighter. Even in the fights that he's lost, he's a smart fighter. He's trying to get it to where he wants it, and then he loses. There's nothing too much to be said. I think Curtis Blaydes will win this fight fairly easy, unless he just eats it. That's it. So fight not go to distance is definitely a very good bet, but I think that might be less of money odds than Curtis Blaydes winning. So I'm going to go Curtis Blaydes winning into distance. Inside the distance. Beautiful.
Beautiful. We are unanimous once again. Yep. Same page as always, man. I love it. It also bodes well for me because you do better on the picks than I do. So anytime we're in agreements, I feel pretty good. Next one up, we got Tofiq Musayev versus Myktybek Oralbai. -160 for Oralbai, +140 for Musayev. I'll let you take the lead on this one. What do you think?
Just don't miss this fight. Just don't miss it. Right. That's my like. Man, 4th of July is coming early for these two. I'm telling you, it's fireworks. There's gonna be some swing, and there's gonna be some ground and pound. It's gonna be violent blood. It's everything there you want in an old. If you want an old-fashioned 2005 to 2009 like UFC fight, here you go, right here. This is one of them. I don't know how that's what Dana White, take this clip and just make that your promo for the fight. There you go. It's like, that's,
if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, there you go. Like, this is going to be a freakish fight. I'd go to pick my guy Oralbai, and since he's been in UFC, he's been a fight pit favorite. And once again, it's just going to be an awesome fight. Even when he loses, it's awesome. That's the thing.
Yeah.
How can you be a fan favorite while losing? And it's like, well, losing like that, going to absolute war, putting up a fight of the year situation. So that's I'm going Oralbai money line. I would love to say fight not to go to distance, but I mean, Oralbai has a chin and a half, and I don't know. Has Tofiq been finished? I don't think he's been finished. I think he's only lost by decision, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna be taking Oralbai by decision. Will be my official pick.
Understandable.
And this one I'm kind of skeptical on skeptical on saying going to decision, but at the same point, both these guys don't get finished. This fight is one of those. I'm telling people, watch it. Don't miss this one.
Yeah, don't miss. Oralbai is he is tough as nails, dude. Tough as nails. But yeah, I agreed. I'm going with Oralbai on this one. Money line, and for the bet, once again, I'm saying fight not to go the distance, because I just gotta think that that Oralbai is gonna get it done. If he doesn't, of course, it's gonna be the war of the century possibility. But it's so hard not to go Oralbai. It's so hard. Yeah. Like you said, Fight Pit favorite, dude. Gotta go with him. Gotta go 100%. With him. All right, super fun fight, dude.
I didn't know the odds on this. Oh, wow.
Yeah. What? Yeah, super fun fight. We got the co-main event, number 11 ranked Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. And as of right now, Fiziev at a 125, Bahamondes at a plus 105. So essentially a pick 'em. If you like Bahamondes, you still got time to get him at plus money. Who's to say that'll still be the same by the time this episode drops in a few days? But as of right now, you got some plus money on Bahamondes. Fiziev, unfortunately, riding a 3-fight losing streak. Bahamondes, I do believe, is on a 3-fight win streak. And, man, I think Fiziev also might be riding a 3-fight finish losing streak, too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Fiziev lost by decision to Gagey.
Okay.
He won the first round and he lost the next 2 rounds, exactly like how the first fight went. Yep.
You're right. 3-13 by decision. Man. Oof. That is so tough to see Fiziev. Now, the reason that I'm taking Rafael Fiziev money line on this one, not very confidently. We all know Bahamondes, especially for us in the Fight Pit, Bahamondes has burst onto the scene and been one of those guys we've bet with every single time, because the last time we picked against Bahamondes, he had an amazing spinning wheel kick knockout, I believe it was. And he's just been on a tear ever since. Any other time, I would pick Ignacio Bahamondes, but I am purely picking Rafael Fiziev out of hope on this one, because he is on a 3-fight losing streak, and I do not want him to be out of the UFC. I want him to fight in the UFC for the rest of his career. One of my favorite fighters on the roster, one of my favorite styles that anybody has. Yep. If anybody was like, Drew, can you give me an example of like who your favorite style of fighter to watch is? Rafael Fiziev would be one of the first 3 names that I name. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He's ranked number 11. That's my lucky number. I just feel like this is all lining up for him to get back on the winning track, and especially against somebody as exciting as Ignacio Bahamondes. You know, Bahamondes isn't just going to try and lay and pray with him. You know, he's going to bring an exciting fight. He's going to bring the fight to him. He's going to stay in the pocket. He's I don't remember the specs, but I got to think that he has the reach advantage.
4-inch reach advantage.
4 inches. Okay, we got Fiziev at a 71-inch reach. Bahamondes at a 75 then.
Yep.
Yeah. So you got to think that Bahamondes isn't going to be looking to lay and pray. He's going to look to keep it on the feet, utilize that height and reach advantage, keep it a striking affair, try to land something. And that's what you would hope for against Rafael Fiziev. That's what you would hope somebody fighting Rafael Fiziev would do, is keep it on the feet, striking exchange, give him the chance to utilize that Muay Thai striking. But yeah, I'm going to open it up with Rafael Fiziev money line. Like I said, not confident in it, but purely on hope. That's just me taking 2 guys that I like, 2 guys very even on the odds, and just picking my favorite. So I'm going to open it up with Rafael Fiziev. How do you got this one going?
By the look on my face with the surprise of the odds, probably answers this. I am picking Bahamondes easily. But he's definitely with, if you look at the previous fights, Fiziev, when he gets hit, he does slow down. He takes wear and tear, and it slows him down. He fights off of his engine. And if you slow that engine down, and who's better at doing that right now than Bahamondes? Bahamondes is very good at counter striker. He's going to have, Fiziev is going to have to push in and get, like Demetrius Johnson always says on his YouTube channel, get across that void. And that void is going to be very tough to get by 6'3" versus 5'8". That's an insane void to get across. Yep. And you're supposed to touch that chin at that height. And Bahamondes fights tall too. He doesn't like bend over and give you that chin either. So you're going to have to work the legs somehow, work the body somehow, and get to the head while yours is available. And Bahamondes puts people to sleep. I picked Manuel Torres against Bahamondes within a year ago. And I was so confident in that. Manuel Torres looked like the cleaner fighter and everything. And Bahamondes, just that void was too much. When Manuel Torres tried to cross it, people can't cross that void very easily. The only one that was able to was his last fight against Turner, but Turner's also 6'3". So that's the thing. He is so good at fighting the smaller fighter. And Fiziev is very quick, but as soon as he eats a couple shots, he's going to slow down. And I'm going to say Ignacio Bahamondes, and I think he's going to get the finish too. We're going to finally see Fiziev get finished. And he did get finished against Gamrot, but that was a knee injury that happened. It was weird. It was a step. Like, yes, it counts as a finish, but I don't really count that. I actually think this is the first time we're going to see Fiziev go out cold. And I'm going to say Bahamondes under 2.5 KO money line dog of the week.
Ooh, dog of the week. Beautiful. Beautiful. I like it. And so for the official bet, are you taking Bahamondes by a finish, or are you going to play it safe and go like under 2.5?
I'll go for the whole shebang. I'm going Bahamondes under 2.5 together. Like I'll parlay the shit. Like I'm good with that.
Hell yeah.
I'm very confident in this one. But watch, now it's going to bust me in the mouth. But still, that's how it goes. This sport's crazy. You think you're good, and then all of a sudden, psych.
That's true. This is a good one to. This is a very tough one, very close one. So this isn't the one that, if you call this one wrong, this is not the one to be ashamed of, because this is a very tough one. So we got official bet for Sean Bahamondes via finish and under 2.5. My official bet, I'm saying fight under 2.5 as well, regardless of who wins. I'm taking Fiziev money line. Sean's got Bahamondes money line, so it will not go down as an official unanimous pick. But first dog of the week, we got Bahamondes. As of right now, it's at a plus 105, guys. So as soon as you see this, run right over there. May not be a plus money by the time this comes out, but if it is, jump on it. Alrighty, baby. That's going to take us to the main event of the evening. Hope and pray, fingers crossed that it goes down this time. We got number 4 ranked Jamahal Hill versus number 7 ranked Khalil Rountree Jr. And anybody who has followed me on High Fight IQ, anybody who has followed me on the Fight Pit picks, anybody that knows me personally for any longer than a couple years, anybody that's even just paying attention to the name, you know where I'm going with this one. As far as the fight itself, I think that this is a very interesting spot for both of these guys. Khalil Rountree coming off of the epic war against Alex Pereira, where I also picked Rountree, but again, it's a hard pick. He's one of my favorite guys in the entire world, not just as a fighter, but just one of my favorite people on the entire roster. But, personal bias aside, he is amazing on the feet, dude. He touched Alex Pereira in ways that very few people, outside of Israel Adesanya, I don't think anybody else has landed as clean on Alex Pereira as Rountree did. And I think with his size disadvantage going into that, a lot of people were counting him out. I think after the first 2 rounds, that was out the window. I think a lot of people realized how real that Khalil Rountree's striking is and how dangerous of a threat he is to anybody in that division. I've been preaching it. I've been shouting it from the rooftops for several years now. I feel like even though he lost that fight, it was a hell of a fight. It was a very, very tough outing for Alex Pereira, which doesn't happen very often. I was very happy, very proud of both of those guys in that fight. Proud to be a fan of both of those guys. Very, very awesome fight. And I think that just anybody going up against Khalil Rountree, when he's in that form, if he's in that tip-top form, it's a very, very tough night. I don't care how much taller you are, how much longer you are, what your accolades are. You better be minding your P's and Q's, because Khalil Rountree will put your ass out. And I am hoping for that on this one. He is the -156 favorite. I was kind of hoping that Jamahal Hill, being the former champion, being a top contender for as long as he has, I was kind of hoping to get some plus money on Khalil Rountree on that one. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm gonna open it up with Khalil Rountree money line. Sean, we'll get your picks before we go to the bets.
Yeah, this is one is way quicker. Yes, he's a little shorter, but he's way quicker, has way more impressive finishes, and just all around and gave Alex Pereira a hell date being Khalil Rountree. And then Jamahal Hill, his big moment was beating Glover Teixeira. That's at 42, 43 years old. Other than that, he got starched by Alex Pereira. He got starched by Yuri Prochazka. He looked way out of shape against Yuri Prochazka. And if he's bringing that to Khalil Rountree, this one will be over in the first round, because Khalil Rountree is a bull in a china shop in those early rounds. And Alex Pereira knew he had to wait on this fight. Like, he could not just stand there toe-to-toe with him in the first 2 rounds, because he would have been out cold. And he even knew it. He knew how dangerous he was. He said this was the first time he had to use a really decent fight IQ over there. And Rountree versus what we've seen of not the greatest fight IQ in Jamahal Hill. Yeah, this one would be my lockout week. It might still be, and it's a -150. I'm super confident this one is Khalil Rountree. I'm going to say under 1.5 rounds. There's no way this sees a 3rd round. No way.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. I like that. Interesting spot for Jamahal. Jamahal was kind of riding the cup check and the getting caught off guard by Alex Pereira as his saving grace for still being back in that title contention. And going up against Yuri did look good in the first round and a half or so. Was landing well, was faring very well for himself. But Yuri Prochazka just able to outlast and land some harder strikes and catch him later on and end up putting him down. I didn't think that was a bad showing for Jamahal Hill. I personally haven't picked Jamahal Hill in any of his fights. He's not one of the guys that I got nothing against him, but he's always going up against people that I like better. So he's not somebody that I pick very often. And this fight being another case of that. But I think it's an interesting spot for Jamahal Hill. This is kind of a make or break. You know what I mean? He had that back and forth with Alex Pereira. He was in that position where if he beats Yuri, he's right back in a title shot against Alex Pereira. And given Alex Pereira isn't the champion anymore, that kind of opens up the possibility of him getting back in title contention if he's able to get past Khalil Rountree. And it's a very interesting spot in light heavyweight right now, being that we've said that they're most likely going to do the Pereira and what's the guy's name, Ankalaev.
Yeah, Ankalaev rematch.
Yeah, we've said they're most likely going to do that, even though we don't really need to see it. We're not really calling for it or anything, but that does leave the number one spot still open, and this is a good fight for either of these guys to jump up and say, hey, I'm next in line once you guys get that all figured out. So it's going to be interesting. I do like this one to be a finish also. We are going to go official pick for Khalil Rountree money line right now at a -156. Not bad odds.
No.
So official pick for Khalil Rountree, and Sean is saying under 1.5.
Yep.
On the bet. I'm also going to add Khalil Rountree via KO TKO to the bets. That's going to be my official bet for that one. So that takes us to the locks and dogs. The one dog that you've already locked in, Ignacio Bahamondes, very slight dog, but still technically a dog if you jump on it quick. So we got one. And then who was the lock that you were saying?
I'm going Khalil Rountree. I'm very confident in this one.
I like it. I'll go ahead and second that. We'll do Khalil Rountree across the board for the lock.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. And then you have Bahamondes for dog of the week. The other dogs, it's kind of tough because there's a few of those very long odds dogs that I think could possibly pull through. But aside from Bahamondes, I think Bahamondes is probably the best dog pick on this one. I think the only other one that I might throw out is Bogdan Grad, just because. Yeah, I don't know if I really want to. He's a +175. I mean, +105 for Bahamondes is as close to being a lock pick as you can for a dog. You know, I'll just go ahead and play it safe and keep us unanimous. I'll go ahead and go with Bahamondes also, even though I really want Rafael Fiziev to win. Bogdan Grad, though, that's my honorable mention, because I think Bogdan Grad could absolutely, at a +175, you got to.
100%. That'd be my second choice. 100% for dog of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the prelims? Are there any prelim dogs that you like off top?
Azat, for sure. Azad Makassum.
The Azat Maksum at a +250. Beautiful.
And then
I will
Mr.
say for... Oh, yeah. That's a good call, too. He's at +300 against Oban Elliott. That's a good call.
That's still crazy.
Know.
Still crazy.
It's so tempting. I will also toss Junyoung Park and Melissa Mullins into the locks conversation. Not going to lock those in, but if I had to, I'm definitely going Junyoung Park as a lock.
I like that. There's not too many locks in this card. This is definitely one that if we go pretty close to flawless, it's like good for us, because even with the long odds, I'm telling you, there's so many live dogs on this card. Even in the prelims, there's some live dogs all over the place.
Absolutely. This is going to be one to hang our hats on if we sweep on this one, which we are known to do. We are known to sweep a fight night here or there. So definitely mind your P's and Q's on this one, folks. This is a good one to tail on. Official lock of the week for this card via the Fight Pit, we are going Khalil Rountree, and official dog of the week, we are going Ignacio Bahamondes. That takes us into the Fight Pit UFC Trivia, and Mr. Bad Beat, Shaun of the Dead, is going to run the lead on this one. Sean, take it away.
All right. So this is a top 10 greatest light heavyweight fighters in MMA history. So this might not just be UFC. It says MMA history. This is by CBS MMA.
Greatest light heavyweights of all time. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up with John Bones Jones.
That is number one.
Boom. Let's go. High fight IQ in the house. Next one, let's say there's 10 of them, right?
Yep, 10.
Okay, so we got one. Let's go with Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell's number 2 on this list.
Bang.
Nice. We're going
bang,
in order.
Bang. Maybe, let's see. Number 3. Is number 3 the guy in Pride?
No.
No?
Nope.
I'll
let you know he's in number 6. He's in number 6.
Number 6 is
where...
I'm going to try to snipe that number 6. Is it Wanderlei Silva?
That is not number 6, but Wanderlei Silva is number 5.
Oh, close.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but he is on the list.
Okay, so we got Jones, Liddell, and Wanderlei Silva. Oh man, the guy in Pride. Is it Kazushi Sakuraba on the list?
Boom, there you go. Let's
go. Let's go,
yeah.
Baby. All right.
Big wins over Mirko Cro Cop and also Royce Gracie.
Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. 4 for 4. Man, let's see if I can at least get like 6 or 7 of them before I get a wrong answer. Is Rampage Jackson on the list?
He is number 10. Ooh, you were flirting with that line. You were flirting.
Ooh, man. Oh,
right.
That's close. Okay, 5 for 5. Man, greatest light heavyweights of all time. Let's say, is Tito Ortiz on this list?
Wow, he is not. That is insane.
gosh.
He's a 2-time light heavyweight champion.
No, right?
How is he not on the list?
Dang. Man, I was pretty certain I wasn't going to sweep, but I did not think Tito would be the first one I missed. Let's see here. How about we'll play on people's heartstrings here a little bit. Is Forrest Griffin on the list?
He is not. Wow.
Oh, gosh. Man.
All these names you very much know. You very much know every last name on this list. 100%.
Very much know him. Okay.
Yes. There's no doubt.
So I knocked out see Jones, Liddell, Sakuraba, Wanderlei, Rampage. How about Rashad Evans?
That is number 9.
Let's go. Okay, 6 out of 10. Next up after that, dang, greatest. Can I ask, are the last 4 all from the UFC?
Yeah. They are all UFC. One of them has fought outside the UFC, but he was known for 90% of his stuff was UFC. And quite a few of these guys have been on other lists. That's the thing. There's quite a few of them have been on other lists we've had on these trivia questions, for sure.
Okay. Let's see. We got Rashad. We got all them. How about Randy Couture?
That is number 4. Number 4.
Right.
Yep. We still need number 3, number 7, number 8.
Dang, I didn't get number 3 yet?
No.
And he was in the UFC. Interesting.
I would say he would beat number 2 in a fight easily, in my opinion.
Number 2 was Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, I think he would beat number 2 easily. But when you think of the greatest what's done for the sport, I understand why they have Chuck at number 2.
Is number 3 Alex Pereira?
It is not. Even though that's a good choice, but he's not on this list.
Can I ask, how recent are these last 3?
The most recent of them is number 3, and number 3 has one of the greatest light heavyweight rivalries of all time.
Light heavyweight rivalries. It's not Liddell. It's not Ortiz. Oh, man.
I want to give you another hint, but it's a really big hint. It basically hands it to you.
Yeah, I should be able to get this. John Jones, Chuck Liddell. It's not Ortiz. It's not Rampage. It's not Rashad. It's not Forrest Griffin. Who the hell else? It's not Vanderlei.
Had a fight in the MGM lobby.
MGM lobby? Is it Daniel Cormier?
Daniel Cormier, number 3.
Oh, gosh. I was thinking of him as a heavyweight this whole time.
Yeah. Even though he had good careers in both. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Number 7 was on the scariest fighters list. You think of this guy, and it has a certain abbreviation next to his name. On that list.
Vitor Belfort.
Vitor Belfort, Mr. TRT himself. In number 8, John Jones won the belt off him.
Shogun Rua.
Shogun. Yep. And that's the list.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a good call. Yep. Dang. I wasn't even thinking of Shogun there.
I'm going to rapid fire go through it. John Jones 1, Chuck Liddell 2, Daniel Cormier 3, Randy Couture 4, Wanderlei Silva 5, Sakabura 6, Vitor Belfort 7. You got Shogun Rua 8, Rashad Evans 9, and then Quinton Rampage Jackson 10. I would probably maybe get Alex Pereira in there just because what he's done in the weight class. Tito Ortiz, of course, I would have in there. Yeah. Maybe over Rampage, and no offense to maybe Rashad Evans, but maybe get Rashad Evans out of there over those two. But that's me personally, but I can't be upset with the list either. They're all very, very big.
Right.
So.
Right. Yep. Yeah, the most surprising one for me had to be Tito. I don't know how Tito wasn't on there. Two-time
champion.
And that is going to wrap it up for us this week, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend, we have the Usman versus Buckley card going down. Following week will be this one, so make sure you guys are tuned in. Appreciate you guys for tuning in on this episode. Make sure to hit subscribe if this is your first time joining us in the Fight Pit. And if you are already subscribed, thank you for returning. Thank you for the support. We appreciate you. Don't forget to go follow us over on Instagram at the Fight Pit Podcast. Official picks. Boom. There you go, folks. Lock them in. Let us know how you do. That's going to wrap it up for us. We will see you on the next one. Peace.
They know what it is, know what I do, know who I am, who don't understand.